Shunyavadi Vacharadeshatarine.
So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I want to start off by saying thank you all for coming and listening to our panel discussion and interacting with our panel discussion. Like Doi Pemperu said, this is meant to be more of like a group activity than lecture and listen. So, but thank you. And our goal here is just to properly explain or just properly be a pass-through for the message of Srila Prabhupada. And so if along the way we commit any offenses in doing so, or we misrepresent Srila Prabhupada's words in any way, please first of all forgive us of our offense so that we can keep on doing our spiritual lives, and feel free to butt in if you know better, and just say if there's something wrong. This is all very lively, hopefully lively group discussion. So, yes. And one special thing, I'd like to welcome and introduce, some of you may have already seen her already, but my mom is in attendance. She made a special effort to come, so it was very much appreciated. And actually, this isn't my mom. This is Mama. Mama. So Mom is not like, you know, but she is Mama. That's it. Mom's from way. So thank you, Mama, for coming. And it's just, it feels nice, fitting, because, I mean, when I first opened Bhagavad Gita, Mama was inundated with all of his teachings in the form of me just rambling to her and doing my so-called preaching and whatever. So she had to suffer through that. Now we're here doing some panel discussion. I think that's fun. So.
We're only here today because. Too loud.
Down?
Okay. As you can see, we are prone to making many mistakes with our flawed senses. We're only here from the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and his amazing devotees that have really brought this message down to our level. So again, we ask for your mercy as we hope to share Srila Prabhupada's message.
And one quick thing, I mean, I didn't quite say it, but I'd like to both offer very respectful obeisances onto the Assembly of Vaishnavas. We don't feel quite qualified to speak in front of, but here we are engaged somehow, some way, so we'll try our best, and to devotee Srila Prabhupada as well. So, yes, that's all. Please shower us with your mercy, so that our lives may be successful. We have like speaker. The slides, I won't say it.
It's okay, it's okay. So, the topic of our discussion today, KISS. Has anybody heard this before?
No.
The rock band with the tongue out.
See, that's the first thing that came to my mind. See?
I'm not cultured, so
Do I just touch it?
It's old school.
yeah. Well, first of all, KISS. This is, say, an acronym. And some people from the West may have heard this acronym before. You heard this, really? You know, you're not from the West, really. So, keep it simple.
I'm from the West.
You're from the West, yeah.
Okay,
This
Prabhu,
is-
help.
Prabhupada got here.
Finish the sentence then, Prabhu.
Keep it simple, stupid. This one.
No.
I know.
Keep it simple. Sadhu.
Hey.
So, the topic of today is simplicity. Simplicity in our Krishna conscious journey. And what that really means. You got it. I'm going to get my laptop.
Please, I'm so sorry.
We can move on. Hey, it's
Okay.
Get my laptop. I'm passing this mic to someone. If I can just make my way across. Perfect. I mean, you grabbed the mic, brother. That's not my fault. We just need you to read this excerpt. That's it. Please, come closer, come closer.
Simplicity means that without excerpt from BG Bhagavad Gita 13.8 through 12 from simplicity means that without difficulty, one should be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth even to an enemy. As for acceptance of the spiritual master, that is essential because without the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master, one cannot progress in the spiritual science. One should approach the spiritual master with all humility and offer him all services so that he will be pleased to bestow his blessing upon the disciple, because a bona fide spiritual master is a representative of Krishna. If he bestows any blessing upon his disciple, that will make the disciple immediately advanced without the disciples following the regulative principles, or the regulative principles will be easier for one who has served a spiritual master without reservation.
Jai.
Just leave it like this.
So, in this excerpt, we have 3 parts. The very first part is in the very first sentence. Simplicity means that without diplomacy, one should be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth even to an enemy. So, when it comes to being diplomatic, what does that mean? What are some examples of being diplomatic in our dealings with people?
Sometimes saying words in such a way that is pleasing. Sometimes, like, you could just tell them straight up, like, oh, you got some green stuff in your teeth. Or you could be diplomatic and say, you might want to go to the bathroom and check your teeth.
Okay, I like that. Someone else, give us more examples. There's plenty of examples. We do it every day. Every day we're being diplomatic. You have a thought?
Trying to compromise when you're trying to get a deal done. Like negotiating a deal, like price down, like I don't know if I want to pay 50, but I'll give you 45 for it. Trying to negotiate to get a result.
Okay, like negotiating for what? A car?
Car? Oh yeah, definitely car.
Okay. Anyone else? Diplomacy. How about diplomacy in the workplace? When you're trying to get a raise, so you bring up all the great things you did to your boss. Can someone relate? Yeah? Okay, I see some nods. Some more examples. How about at the house with your kids? Oh, okay. Looking around.
No, when we go to stores like Publix, so the cashier said, "Did you find everything was okay?" I said, "They really care about you, right? But the only one is more business."
So how about diplomacy when you have a disagreement with somebody? Might not tell them to your face, like, you're this and that. You think this and
It'll
that.
be all smiles in front of them.
Yeah.
And the moment they turn their back, that's when the things come out.
You start complaining.
Huh? Pardon? Like a snake. Yes. Venomous. So okay, we have an idea of diplomacy.
So without it, be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth to even an enemy. So what are some things that you wouldn't want to disclose to your enemy, for example?
Where I live.
Okay, that's a pretty good one.
First one that I
Yeah.
said. My
I
address.
want to tell people where you live.
My weaknesses.
Your weaknesses. Okay.
Banking, bro.
Oh, okay. Well, I heard it over here. Say it louder. Your social security number, yeah. Your bank routing information, yeah. Anyone else? Things you don't want your enemy to know?
I mean, who my loved ones are.
Okay, about don't want to let them know about your loved ones. How about where you work? You don't want them showing up at your job, I'd imagine.
No.
Yeah, that'd be a little awkward.
Yeah. Anything else that comes to mind? Things you don't want to share with your enemy.
Secret of happiness.
So you have, or you don't want them
You
to
don't
be
want
happy.
them to know the secret of happiness.
We are happy.
He's the enemy. He can stay miserable. Okay.
That's good.
Okay. So, one more point. Who is the enemy? Enemy is such a strong word, you know. So in our modern life, who's our enemy?
Our mom.
Actually, it's only an enemy if you make one an enemy, but somebody who doesn't have your back, for example, if you're in trouble,
Okay.
Somebody that would jump on an opportunity
to put me down even more. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, someone else, like we think would be my friend, like would expect possibly to help him and I need very help, so much help for him. And then phone promise him, I'm busy or something like that. Then I'm like, oh my god, dependent on you.
Really, they commit to it.
Yes.
You plan your day around it. So then they're the enemy. A strong word.
It's a strong enemy. The word.
Okay.
What is the enemy?
Am I allowed to say myself?
You can say whatever you want. No
I
one's
am my
gonna-
own enemy.
You're your own enemy.
More esoteric.
Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Mind.
Your mind. Srila Prabhupada did say that your mind could either be your greatest enemy or your best friend. So it's a choice. It's a choice.
Indeed.
Government.
And
Definitely feels that way.
sometimes there's the
Maya is also.
Maya.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Anger.
Senses. Anger.
Senses, the emotions we feel. They don't work for us.
Or telephones.
Your phones. All these
Could be.
things. There's a
Could be.
the main quality I'm seeing kind of unifying all these different things is the enemy is not helping us. That seems to be a unifying force again across all these things. Your anger doesn't always suit your needs. Your mind doesn't always help you. You don't help yourself half the time. The government, I'll leave it at that.
We'll bring that. That'll be next class.
But yeah, no, all these enemies, they are not helping us.
Simple. Okay.
Now the last part of this script.
Right. Accepting a spiritual master. I mean, clearly it seems from this text that expecting a spiritual master is everything. It's the beginning of our spiritual lives. Now, for many of us here sitting around, we could say, okay, fine, let me accept the spiritual master. But it doesn't quite work like that. It's not instantly accessible. There's some things to go through. But I want the benefits. How do I get this? So the small point is that if we don't have a spiritual master in front of us, Srila Prabhupada is there for all of us. With his instructions, with his words, with his pastimes. Before we can take official initiation or all these things, everything is there from Srila Prabhupada.
So what to do? We have the instruction for Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Read. Open the books. We've all heard it before. The Bhagavad Gita as it is. It should not be sitting as it is on your shelf. It's gonna have some wear on it. You gotta open it. You gotta go through it. That's how we cultivate that devotion in our life. But even aside from that, the power of association. Chapter 9, verse 2. Well, first, actually, before I talk about that, does anybody someone has to remember the name of chapter 9 in the Bhagavad Gita.
The most confident knowledge.
At least one person. I heard a lot of different answers, and one of them was right.
So would you say the most confidential knowledge?
The most confidential knowledge. Chapter 2, actually, chapter 9 has another name as well.
Can we get a mic?
Before we go there, who needs a spiritual master? Maybe you need to explain that.
He said, who needs a spiritual master? So who needs a spiritual master? Everyone? Oh, but what if I say, no, I don't need a spiritual master. I can get there on my own.
You may not accept, but you need one.
See, but I'm my own guru. What's your response to that?
You need it the most.
Yes, Prabhu.
I'll give you the answer.
Jai.
One who wants to put an end to all suffering.
This one, without the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, one cannot progress in spiritual science. Spiritual science, ending the suffering. That's it. So, yeah, we think everyone should be desiring this, but yeah, anyone who desires this needs a spiritual master. That's what
It's a necessary step. I know you had brought up the idea of snapping your fingers, and then your Diksha Guru appears, and you become initiated, and you're part of the Sampradaya, and everything is honey pots and rainbows from there.
sounds glorious.
It sounds amazing, and so many people are not initiated because they're waiting for that very same thing. They're waiting for the clouds to part. They're waiting for the sun to shine on their spiritual master's lotus feet, which they will then bow down to with awe and reverence and plead for them to save them. That's not realistic. It's funny, but again, so many of us, we are not taking initiation because, oh no, he's not the right way. It's not my time yet. Krishna will tell me when it's my time. This kind of yeah.
So yeah, another part Prabhupada actually mentions the answer Prabhuji asked also. The key word there in the bottom part is regulative principles. Some of us know the regulative principles, the 4 regulative principles. The only way we can stop committing these offenses or breaking the regulative principles is when we allow a spiritual master to enter our lives. When he is not there, we can still commit them and we can still do Krishna conscious activities too, but that will not come to an end. When we accept the spiritual master, and it's so nice to see how Prabhupada puts it, that will make the disciple immediately advance even without the disciples following the principles. So what is more important? Having a spiritual master, right? Because otherwise we'll keep breaking the principles even though we know we should not, but then that should happen. But when the master comes in our spiritual master comes in our life, we make a promise of not doing this. And again, it's not a promise of doing it one day. Like today I saw someone, I'm taking a station and tomorrow I'll stop it. No, it's a train that has been begun from like at least minimum of a good 1 year, then we can continue from there. So why we need a spiritual master is someone can really help me stop committing these offenses. Because this is gonna take me down. I need to get out of this cycle and get out of here. So,
As long as it's by our own endeavor, it's kind of artificial.
that's
It really sticks with the spiritual master.
But we still come across an issue here. Turn right, turn left. Can anybody in this room initiate you? Well, it's an honest question.
I don't.
You're my beloved wife. Can you give me initiation?
Yeah, I'm at that level.
So this brings me back to chapter 9, text 2. Oh, and again, chapter 9. Because yes, the most confidential knowledge, but Srila Prabhupada also gave it a second name. It's also known as the King of Education. Chapter 9, the King of Education. And how do we get that education? It's through a teacher, through our teacher, through our guru. But again, this is in the purport. Srila Prabhupada says, one who is in association with great acharyas, even if he is not educated or has never studied the Vedas, can become familiar with all the knowledge necessary for realization. This is the power of association. Even if you don't have any books, if you at least have the association of a devotee, of a Vaishnava, you can make so much progress. You have everything you need right there. And Krishna will provide the rest. So acharyas. What is an acharya? Someone who?
Lead by example.
Who leads by example. An acharya leads by example. And I'm looking around, and what do I see? I see devotees here on Sunday. I see devotees that are reading Srila Prabhupada's books. I see devotees that just went outside actually for hours to fulfill Srila Prabhupada's mission. So many of these wonderful devotees just went out to distribute these books, to do the work Srila Prabhupada wants us to do. And they're sitting in this room right now. One of them's right next to me, actually. I think we'll have the pictures up later. But yes, all these great Vaishnava devotees are in this room right now with us. So these great acharyas that Srila Prabhupada talks about, who is a devotee? What does it mean to be spiritual? This is a callback from a long time ago, class that we took. The difference between spiritual and ritual. Ritual, you're going through the motions, but you need to make it spiritual. And how do you do that? SP.
SPI. Srila Prabhupada's instructions.
Srila Prabhupada's instruction. You can say it too, Prabhu. It's okay.
Oh yeah.
Say it, please.
Srila Prabhupada's instruction.
We should all say it. Srila Prabhupada's instruction. That is what makes it spiritual. And that's what's being referred to here. This is where we start. We start with this association.
It's good then. Well, now, take a little detour. Not detour, say, but shift topics.
Shit, that's simplicity.
It's back to simplicity as a trait, a character trait in people. So, for the audience, what are some things that come to mind when you think of simplicity in people? You say, this is a simple person. What do you imagine? What is, sorry?
Let's get a mic going around. I have very bad hearing.
There's a few.
If we can have a mic runner, that would be good.
That's super good.
Mic runner? Okay. Yes.
No show off.
So a simple person isn't a show off.
Okay.
You have more than one mic out there?
Big out of this one.
Okay.
Not duplicitous
Not
in your
duplicitous.
dealing.
Not duplicitous in our dealings.
What is an example of being duplicitous in a dealing, you say?
Not trying to cover up the real issue given you, diplomatic
Oh, he said the word. I was waiting for that word.
to the problem, not being straightforward.
Okay.
Accepting one's fault.
Sorry?
Accepting one's fault.
Accepting one's faults. Okay. Neil said.
So, in Sri Ramcharitmanas, when Lord Ram is explaining the 9 processes of bhakti, the last one he says about being simple, but it's very difficult to be a simple person. So that's the definition I would say. It's very difficult to be a simple person.
So you're saying the opposite of simplicity is just easy, the easy road.
It's harder to be simple than it is to live a complex life. Okay, that's solid. See, all these things, they sound so positive. You know, this idea of simplicity.
In my culture in Canada, when you say somebody is simple, it's not a compliment.
That's so.
You read our mind. You read our mind.
It's not a compliment.
So think about it. If you were gonna go to your boss and you called them simple, oh, you're simple. Too simple. How would they react? What would they say?
Get out.
Not happy.
Not happy, get you fired. Out of my room.
Go.
How about this side? My problems in the work field right now.
Like even Marisha was giving an example of her workplace. She was saying that all of you will it together, and everyone was looking at her like, no, you need to.
Yeah, yeah. There was more humility though. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the insult is you're simple-minded.
And there's not a lot going on up there.
Yeah, Prabhu, when I say that to you, I don't mean it in this way.
So that's a good point though. What people assume you say when they say the word simple. Because you call someone simple, first thing they come to is, oh, you're calling me simple-minded, connecting with the mind. Such a simple mind. That's insulting. But what does Srila Prabhupada ask us to do? Because Srila Prabhupada doesn't ask us to be simple-minded.
He tells us to live simply.
Okay.
Live simply.
Live simply. Eat simply, but not think simply. No, not thinking simply.
Think high. Think highly.
So it's interesting though, because what is simple thinking? What are some examples? I know we've talked about it in the past. So many examples.
For example, like simple thinking. Is that what you're asking? What is an example?
Simple living.
Simple living.
No, simple thinking.
Simple thinking.
Okay.
Okay, simple thinking.
Okay, I'll give you an example.
Whenever you make space in a freezer to like put ice cream and then somebody puts the ice cream on top of the food that you moved rather than putting it into the open space.
That's called dirty laundry.
Okay. I'll give you something a bit more relatable because all of us have social media and it's very easy to get stuck. They call it doom scrolling. Actually, I have a client, and the one way that she described it, she used the word couch rotting.
That's simple thinking.
Simplicity as a trait, as a human trait. We're talking.
Yes.
Somebody who's humble.
Humble.
Simple. That's simple. Simplicity is a trait.
Sure. I think so. Because humility, I mean, we are all conditioned, so humility is simplicity, it's honesty. It's recognizing your own faults, recognizing your own position, true position. And anything other than humility, you're just making something up, really. That's your natural
Too
position.
much high.
So yeah.
How about being satisfied with the bare necessities?
Satisfied with the
Say
bare
it again, bro.
necessities.
Say it again. Into the mic.
Being satisfied with the bare necessities.
Satisfaction with the bare
Bare
necessities.
necessities.
Taking only what you
Not making any extraneous effort to achieve something that you can live without.
See, that sounds spiritual. And why is it spiritual? Because it's Srila Prabhupada's instruction. Those words that you just spoke, that is Srila Prabhupada's instruction. Simple living, higher thinking. So when we're talking about simplicity,
Anyone who makes 8 hours and makes overtime pay, just bring it here. Balance is here. Leave it balance.
yes, keep it simple. Yeah.
For me, simplicity is accepting reality or living in the reality. So no stories in the mind and noises, and just be present with reality.
Okay,
So then,
thank you. One more, of course.
So I just wanted to share the first little bit of the Bhagavad Gita
Jai.
translation from the last slide, and I think that it really sums it up well. And it's humility, pridelessness, nonviolence, tolerance, and that's as simple as it comes, right? Sort of from Srila Prabhupada.
So to wrap this one up,
Wait, an example of simplicity is the slideshow so far.
I'm glad somebody noticed. I'm glad somebody noticed. And It wasn't because of my lack of effort. It was a deliberate
This is
choice.
Okay.
This is high thinking. If you
intentional.
can't recognize it, you're not on that road. That's it.
It's almost like you just can't see it.
Exactly. It's what's not there that's making the impact. That's it. So anyways, to wrap this one up quickly, simplicity. We got that purport. Prabhu added some things as well. Yeah, but the simplicity as a trait in a person is just straightforward, honesty, humble, knows their position, satisfied with the bare necessities. Right? That's it. Now that's very nice and all, but how do we get there? What's the practical way to get there? Because I could say, yeah, I'm all those things, but then as soon as the next problem comes, I'm not there.
Back to all the same old habits. The moment we have some adversity, we fall right back into it.
Indeed.
One
So
of the hardest things about our devotional life.
indeed. We'll talk about that. So what's the simplicity in practice? How do we simplify our lives? Simple living. Okay, so maybe we could go to the audience. Someone read the first 3 items there in the comments.
Okay. Now.
Prabhu, you read it. You have a mic.
Here,
The first 3.
Namruchi, Vaishnav Seva, and Jigadaya.
Okay, and Puri, you can do
Oh.
that one as well.
Here, Sanatan, kindness to all living beings, taste for the holy name, and service to Vaishnavas. Apart from these, there is no other religion. So 3 things, right? Kindness to all living beings, taste of the holy name, and service to Vaishnavas.
Do you know which ones match to which?
Oh.
Which one to which?
Yeah.
Just do one. Do one.
Okay. Namruchi is taste of the holy name.
Okay.
Jai. We have another one here.
Jivadaya is kindness to all living beings.
Vivo. There's one more.
I
Which
learned
one
that.
No one wants to answer the hard
Vaishnav
one.
Seva is.
Prabhu, I can barely hear you. Please. Say it again.
Service to Vaishnavas.
Service to the
Vaishnavas. Apart from these, there is no other religion. Alright, so then, does anyone remember what Srila Prabhupada said religion is? What is the meaning of religion? It's very short and sweet.
To gain economics and like economic stuff and
Okay.
Obey the laws of God.
Obey the laws of God. Okay.
I remember from the introduction, he says religion means dharma, and in that he defines dharma as the intrinsic property of the characteristic of the soul, pretty much. So let's say sugar is not sugar without sweetness. So the same way, fire cannot be fire without its heat and light nature. So same way, soul cannot exist without the dharma. And dharma, as per the introduction, what Prabhupada said was service.
Okay.
So service is basically the religion, as per the introduction part. I don't know which part you are referring to.
So, I guess, it's kind of an open-ended thing. Maybe there's a few Srila Prabhupada quotes out there. Like Prabhupada said, obey the laws of God. There's lots of different, levels to the word religion. Some not so good connotation.
The
Some
quote
better.
is Dharma to Shakshat Bhagavat Pranita.
Okay. So, thank you for the quote that we pulled and that we remembered was Srila Prabhupada saying, religion means to know God. First of all, know God. And to love Him. That's it. That is the goal of everything we're doing. That should be the goal. So simplify your life. Simplify, you need an aim. And then you need a way to get to that aim.
This is something that Srila Prabhupada was very good at. When he came to the West to start preaching, to start his mission, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave him this mission to spread the message of Krishna consciousness. In the beginning, he kept it simple. a quote we all know. Srila Prabhupada says what? Just chant and be happy. Just chant and be happy, and that's where it started. He started with the hippies, chanting Hare Krishna. They got the taste, and then they got deeper into it. Say that again, Prabhu? He turned the hippies into happies. Jai. But again, Srila Prabhupada, a lot of his messages, very simple. Very simple. And this is no different. Say that again, as Srila Prabhupada said.
Religion means first to know God, then to love Him.
So simple. So simple. Know God and love God.
Sounds simple. I want to be there. And look, our process is right there. Kindness to all living beings, taste for the holy name, and service to the Vaishnavas. Cool. I'll just be kind and chant nicely and serve. And that's it. Simple.
And now that's the simple side of things. The 10 truths. Some of us may remember this from Govinda Prabhu. He's talked about it a few different times. You know what? Let's throw a little pop quiz in here. Can anyone tell me all the 10 truths?
All of them? Not
Let's
just
see
one?
recall. All of them. All of them. 10
Well, we
truths
could
back
like
to back.
popcorn, like one person say one.
Okay.
Does it have to be
We'll
in
keep
order?
it simple. One at a time. So someone give me the first one.
So the first one's everything about Krishna, right? And so that would be like.
Okay. So everything about Krishna. And that comes down the disciplic. Who said that? Disciplic succession. Parampara. The first truth of religion, of true religion, is that it comes down a disciplic line straight from the top, straight from the source. The message comes straight from the absolute truth, Sri Krishna, all the way down until it gets to us.
Okay.
That is the first truth. Second truth.
Okay, that Krishna is for himself, by himself, and of himself.
Jai.
Yeah.
Krishna is by himself, for himself, and of himself.
Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure.
No.
No. Oh.
Anyone have an idea on the third one?
Source of all pleasure.
I think that's number.
Oh.
He is the absolute truth, endowed with
Inconceivable potency. Yeah.
Now number 4. Someone said it already. Well, you say it now, probably.
He's the reservoir of all pleasure.
Yes, he's the reservoir of all pleasures.
Okay.
Number 5.
Now the truths about the soul. That we are non-different, or simultaneously the same but non-different from one and.
Okay, say it, bro. Say it. Confidence. You keep popcorning. Someone say it. The key word that they have here is eternally. So everything's the same, but eternally one and different from the absolute truth, separated, and can never be one with Krishna. Next one, number 6.
We're here because we made the decision to be here.
Misuse of
Misuse of our free will.
Okay, we're helping each other. So we are under illusion in the material world because of our misuse of our
free will.
I think it's not because it's not Maya's fault.
Yes.
Yeah, you
It's
can't
not
blame
Maya's
Maya.
fault. We chose to come here.
That's an important thing that I want us to remember, because Maya is a devotee of the Lord as well. Maya is just doing her job. She is a devotee. She is a Vaishnava. She didn't put us here. We put ourselves here. The prisoners can't blame the warden for getting themselves stuck in prison, even if they want to. Next one, number 7.
7.
This has to do with liberation.
Oh yeah, like once we get liberated, we'll never come back. Is that?
Once you're liberated through bhakti, specifically, loving devotional service. Once you are liberated through bhakti, and you go back home, back to Godhead, you are eternally free from this material world. We're almost there, number 8.
Love for God is already there. I think you have to.
Not yet. There's one before that. Still has to do with the material world. We're not quite done here. The material world.
Is it though simultaneously one and different
From who?
from Krishna?
From Krishna.
Yeah.
Yes. This material world is still Krishna's energy. A different part of him, different energy, but it's still Krishna's energy all the same. Now, Prabhu, number 9.
Love for God that already exists in our heart. Chanting will clear it up and make it manifest.
The process of Krishna consciousness is the only process to awaken your love for Krishna. So yes, we already have the love in us. We just need to wake it up. We're sleeping. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. We need to wake up that sleeping soul. And now the last one. The goal of life.
Krishna Prem.
Is Krishna Prem, but in more layman's terms,
Love of God.
Love of God.
to love God. What does Srila Prabhupada tell us? Know God, and then we do what?
Love
We
God.
love God. You know God, and we love God. These are the truths. This is true religion. If it follows these 10 points, you're in the right place. There's a lot of places that do not hit all these points. But that's not a topic for today.
With a positive rock. Okay, so you have this goal, that's for sure. Real love. Real love. We can't find, people said, we can't find love in this material world. True love. We can't find it. Actually, the closest thing we have to real love in this material world is the example of the mother and the son. How a mother loves her son.
Mother and the child.
So that's the closest thing to real love.
No assuming. No assuming.
So, but still, real eternal love. So these are the things. Kindness to all living beings, taste of the holy name, and service to the Vaishnavas. How do we get there? Simply, practically. Yeah, where to start?
Where do we start? Oh,
Namarji.
that's a place to start.
Indeed. Namarji. Chanting. A taste for chanting. A taste for chanting, as in, we look forward to it, we want to chant.
You should have a desire.
Desire to chant. It's not an obligation. So,
You should want to do it, then it will manifest. It's just chant. You say, Namaruchi would be the first step, and you say, okay, I will just chant. It wouldn't work like that. You must have that desire. Then it will manifest.
In opposition to that, we have to start somewhere. Even if you don't have the desire to chant, you should still chant. Marisha, you were talking about this in the class.
Oh, it's not from me. It's from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but
Well, I'm quoting you. But yes, just chant. Another simple message. There's so much simplicity, but it's still impossible. Even if you don't have the taste, just chant. Same thing, there was a devotee who didn't want to pay obeisance to Srila Prabhupada. What did he say? Just do it. Do it anyways. And then the desire will come. So same thing, yes, we need to strive for that desire. But don't use that as an excuse to, oh, you know what? I don't feel the desire to chant. I'm just not gonna chant today. I'll feel it tomorrow. It's a little off today, a little off vibes, you know? Off vibes. Tomorrow's gonna
I'm
be
not
chant
feeling it.
vibes.
I'm not
Yeah. But tomorrow, total vibes. Total vibes.
yeah, so Srila Prabhupada has given us one basic instruction for chanting. I mean, it doesn't go too esoteric in his basic instruction, which is chant be happy, yes, but more specifically, chant how much? 16 rounds. That's the goal. That's the bare minimum, he says, actually. That's it.
I want to have this very merciful.
Indeed. In his spiritual master's time, if you weren't chanting 64 rounds a day, you were falling. Simple as that. And we can plan to chant 16 rounds.
How fallen are we? That's we have to have that number cut down so much just so we can have the chance to chant. That's mercy. That's love.
So 16 rounds, it says 2 hours, that should be 2 hours every day. Sometimes in the beginning stages, we may procrastinate this and prioritize different things. Like you were saying, Prabhu, couch rot.
Couch rotting? Yeah.
That's one of them. Or making a useless snack, just to waste some time.
Oh, the midnight snack?
Midnight snack.
And the late night munchies?
Late night munchies, that's right. So, anyways, we might scatter our chanting throughout the day. And maybe we might find ourselves at the end of the day, it's about bedtime, whatever that is for you, and you haven't finished all your rounds. There's a lot of different things floating out there about what to do in that situation. But Prabhupada says one simple thing. I'll put the quote up here. It's a little bit heavy, direct. But if you cannot, I'll have somebody else read this, so I can speak the name of that. But
if you cannot finish 16 rounds, then you must not sleep on that day. You must not eat. Why don't you forget to eat? Forget. Why don't you forget chanting Hare Krishna? Why do you forget chanting Hare Krishna? This is negligence, aparad, offense. Rather, you should forget your sleeping and eating and must finish 16 rounds.
Something that's said is Krishna's name is a Vaishnav's life force. It's their very life energies, their very breath. So in forgetting to chant your 16 rounds, it's like you're holding your breath. And what happens when you hold your breath for too long? Finished. Finished. Back to not gotten it.
Indeed. So simply, we could say, oh, you have a 24-hour period or all these things, but really it just means from the time you wake up, from the time you go to sleep, for the next day, whatever that day is for you, you must chant 16 rounds. That's it. Jai Shri Thakurnath.
Jai.
Yeah. Anyways, so that waking period, chant 16 rounds. That's it. So, what are? Oops.
Before we move on from this, because just taking this at face value, how does it feel? How does it look? Because yes, we want to say, oh yes, we completely agree, but realistically, how many of us are willing to skip sleep, skip eating, to chant our Tapa?
Once a year. That's
There's at least that one. But no, realistically, because not every single person in this room is chanting 16 rounds. Okay, then I'll answer for you, since no one wants to raise your hand and be honest. Because before I started chanting 16 rounds, this looked impossible to me. Chanting 16 rounds with the busy schedule that I have, working a full-time job, going to school, hanging out with my friends, I don't have time to chant Tapa. It's too much. So again, I want to get a little honesty. How does this look to you guys? Difficult. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else? Any thoughts?
It sounds easy.
Sounds easy.
It sounds easy.
Until you get to that day.
4 to 6 in the morning, but early in the morning is good. Early in the morning before you face all the illusion and all the difficulties in this life, it's good to do it before you start.
That's a whole other battle, waking up that early in the first place. Anyone else have any thoughts? Yeah.
I mean, it may seem difficult. Oh yeah, I don't have enough time you know, and then you look at your screen time for the week, and I'm like, maybe I do
Could
have
have done
enough time.
64 rounds.
I could have. I really could have.
It's not actually difficult. It's more so that perceived difficulty. Same thing where someone mentioned earlier when we're talking about what is the enemy, it's only what your mind is telling you is the enemy. So in this case, procrastination is your enemy.
So, how to counteract that? Prabhu said 4 to 6 early is good time.
Before you start the day.
Before you start the day. For some people, like me, waking up like that may be difficult sometimes. So what do you
People
do?
like me, I work at that time.
He's working at the time.
So
He simply can't. So
it's a good idea, but it does not apply to all of us. And this is where that nuance comes.
but the essence of the idea, I think, set a time. Set one period during the day. Set a couple. Or break it out into quarters. Plan some time to chant your japa.
So, Prabhuji, it makes perfect sense for whatever you said for the people who are chanting already. What about the people who are not started chanting? What is your suggestion?
Well,
That's what they said. Set up a time and start doing it.
How that will come because they don't know the value of that name.
So it just doesn't matter. Just do it.
It's not that easy, Prabhuji.
Okay, that's fine then. If you want small.
So, I think one thing is devotee association is very important. But apart from that, at home you don't have any association, so it's better listening to the pastimes of the Lord. That way you can develop that interest for the holy name.
I'm going to cut you off a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the essence of what Srila Prabhupada is trying to tell us, this text specifically, these words that Srila Prabhupada is speaking, is on the importance of japa. The importance of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
There's almost
yeah.
just do it mentality.
It should be as important as eating is to you. It should be as important as sleeping is to you. You don't forget to eat. You don't forget to sleep. But you forget to do japa.
Breathing.
You forget to breathe. It's just as important as breathing. It is breath. It is life force. So this is on the importance of japa. If you are saying that you do not have the time to do japa, that's just like saying that you don't have the time to eat food. That you don't have the time to breathe. That is how important japa is to be. And that, to your point, Prabhu, that's also where that desire and that taste is going to come. In that same importance.
Yeah, I mean, what Sunpur also brought is good, but sometimes we think of this aspect of practice is something more religious, more spiritual, so it has to be done differently. Now, how many of us as parents make sure our children go to school on time? So to go to school in a public school, basically, you have to wake up what time? 6 a.m. How many kids here wants to wake up at 6 a.m. and go to school? So what do parents do? We talk to them nicely, a little bit more nicely, because a push and a force. Get out, get ready, get out. So we are forcing our kids to go to school, but when it comes to chanting Hare Krishna, we think, no, it's okay, shouldn't do it. So it's not only about what we chant, it's also about who is telling you. Now, if we're telling our kids, you have to go to school, the kids will think, I don't want to, but my parents saying it, it's good behind it. So when we say, we are the ones who tell them, you have to chant, it's good for you. Somehow you make it go, I'm saying it in a simple way. It's good for you, like going to school is good for you, eating good food is good for you, chanting is also good for you. So when they hear this from our superiors, our loved ones, especially like our parents, for example, then they will do it. Parents or brothers will love it.
That comes back to instruction.
Back to instruction, I mean, you say it's so important, right? Okay, why is it important to me? There's so many things that could be said on the importance of chanting Hare Krishna. There's so many details you can go into, but simply, Prabhupada said it. Chant 16 rounds. You need to go more than that.
But that is a good point. Because, talking about kids again. Kids don't want to brush their teeth. But as parents, we understand the importance of it. and we push them to do it, and eventually they're able to do it on their own. Same thing with eating. Sometimes, I know I was kind of like this as a kid. I would rather be playing than eating. So I would be completely fine skipping a meal if it means I can play longer. But my parents would not just let me not eat, because that's not good for a developing child. So they would make me eat. And same thing here. It is very difficult to motivate yourself to chant japa. I did not start chanting my japa because I told myself to chant japa. I started chanting japa because of Dwight Parker. He was the force that pushed me into this. He is my parent. He is the parent, and Shraddhanjali Mataji as well.
Yeah, no, that was very good. No, I mean that was my experience as well. Chanting on my own whim, it's just up, down, up, down. But as soon as some instruction was there, someone who cared, then that changed it.
The point being, if you're having trouble starting japa, if you're having trouble getting up to those 16 rounds, you need to seek that instruction. You need help from the outside because you're not going to do it on your own. This whole movement is not a single person movement. I am not going to liberate myself. That's why Srila Prabhupada had to come here to the West. Srila Prabhupada came to us to help us. He is our preeminent Shikshaguru. He's our grandpa, some of our great grandpas. And through his children, our parents, they're the ones that are going to push us into improving our japa, into reading, into all these things that are beneficial for us, even if we don't want to do it ourselves.
Oh, okay, well that's the nature of discussion. I mean, this was not in the notes, but everyone in the audience, we had some things talking. Yeah, I have to say that that's good. It's just a developing panel discussion. It's not a class. It's just developed that way. So, chanting, now we know, okay, important, 16. We have some tips on how to do it. Next one, Vaishnav Seva. So one simple question.
Should we, it's 6:10, should we take like a pause to see if anybody has questions or anything?
Oh, right, I guess that's pretty much wrapping up time.
Yeah. Just throwing that
Yeah,
out there.
okay, anybody want to add something?
Anything that didn't stick, or anything you want to add?
Or maybe you can finish the topic and then we'll
Oh, we're not gonna finish
and
that.
then,
I mean, you can like do like a summary, like no more discussion, but just like summarize the last like few points you want to make, and then you can do that.
Keep
Keep it simple.
Sadhu.
Okay, Vaishnav Seva, the one simple question. Where are the Vaishnavs?
We were talking about that earlier.
What drives them madness?
Yeah.
No. Who are the Vaishnavs? Because Vaishnavs sometimes, I know for me, I was reading all this before knowing much, and Vaishnav, it's like so elevated, so out there. The Vaishnavs are here, in this temple, coming, chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't know to who, I guess exactly, should get that in there, but whoever chants the holy name of Krishna just once is worshipable and is the topmost human being. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
That's Madhya Lila chapter 15, verse 106. Chaitanya Charitamrita.
And Bhakti Vinod Thakur comments, yeah, this is a Vaishnava who chants the holy name of Krishna just once. So anyways, they're all around. But the Vaishnavas, if you want to serve them, the Vaishnavas might not let you serve them directly. That's a good point too. Say if you're, we're after this, we're eating prasadam and everything. Someone's finished their plate. You say, oh, can I get that plate for you?
No.
Get out of here. So, The Vaishnavas, the service, the seva is there, and those who can engage you, who will engage you in serving the temple, serving the deities, maybe indirectly. Vaishnav seva is transparent. They're just the people who can guide you there. So, anyways, this Vaishnav seva, this whole big thing, is very simple. It's here. It's here on Sundays, but it's here every other day as well. Sundays might be a little difficult for all of us because we live far away, we work early in the morning the next day. We don't want to stick around washing pots till 9 o'clock and go home tired. But Seva, this temple is living, breathing temple. You know, I mean, when I was coming here on Sundays, this temple was just a void on Sundays, or any other day but Sunday. But so many things are happening all the time throughout the week. So anyways, small point. Vaishnav Seva, this is essential. If we can't do it on Sunday, maybe you just offer some time any other day. And you just offer a little bit to start. That's it. And you can be engaged nicely if you ask Shraddhanjali what to do with that. So that's it, this whole like esoteric sounding thing is just here. Simple.
Where are the Vaishnavas? They're right here. Turn left, turn right, look up, look down. There's no one up there. But they're right here in the room with us.
No, they are there with the peacocks.
Oh! Those are genuine Vrajavasis.
Indeed.
Been here longer than us.
Been here longer than us.
Yeah.
I was just texting this to my mom the other day. I just sent her some peacocks and I commented. I said, oh, actually, these guys are pretty advanced. They come to temple every day. There's some peacocks that
Not
come.
just that, yeah. No,
They come through that window, take darshan in the morning.
Right there when the curtain's open.
They eat the remnants of the food left by the Vaishnavas.
And the ghee wicks as well.
And the ghee wicks. I mean,
That's extra
potent.
mercy. That's
None of us can say we've done that. So yes, the Vaishnavas are here. They're all around. There's no need to go search them out. So, move on.
One more.
Yeah, one more. One last part. Jiva Doya. Yeah. 6:15. Time flies. Anyways, Jiva Doya. What does that mean again? What is Doya? Kindness. Kindness.
Yeah, but I guess is what we did today is very harsh. Going out.
Right. So, yeah. So what we went down when we researched this, what does it mean to have compassion for someone? And this is something I was confused about as well. But it says, from Prabhupada, a summary of what Prabhupada says, compassion is not a sentiment. Oh, I feel bad for this person, or I just want to pat them on the back. Compassion means action. That's what it means. It's not a feeling. It's just action. So, what's the most compassionate thing to do for the suffering souls of the world?
Well, a lot of people, when they see homeless people on the street, first thing they do is give them money. Compassion, right?
Ignorance.
Wow.
Charity.
Charity.
In the mode of ignorance.
In the mode of ignorance. Charity in mode of ignorance.
That's coming from Bhagavad Gita.
Chapter. Laws of material nature. What chapter was that?
15?
No, 16.
16. Chapter 16. It's good to know where it is in the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, so charity is not compassion.
Well, charity in the mode of ignorance.
Yeah,
Mode not compassion.
The homeless.
Doing charity is.
Mm.
Yeah. For the good.
So now I guess might be good to clarify why is it ignorant to give a homeless person $5 on the street?
Because they can buy something that could ultimately kill them with it. Like, you know, go out, like, just not spend it properly
Okay,
on them themselves.
that's fair. You don't know what they're going to do the money. Use the money for.
You kind of
But you know for a fact they're not going to use it to serve Krishna. So
But today, when you
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is a tangent, but I guess nice story. We were out in Harinam Sankirtan, downtown Orlando, and trying to give books out, all these things. And one homeless person rocks up, and he's really into all the chanting and everything. Surprisingly lucid homeless person, I guess you'd say. And somehow gets talking, and I just offer him a book. So you take a book, give a donation. I don't have any money. I have pennies. I said, okay. He pulls out a pouch out of his pocket. There's a little black pouch, and he takes it out like this. There's 2 pennies. He says, okay. That's the last of his money. It's pennies. So, anyways, that's an example of a homeless person serving Krishna. But
Here's an opposing example of a homeless person that you noticed. There's a homeless person today. You know, we're doing our Harinam. He walked up to us when we were finishing, and he asked, "Oh, can you guys spare money? Can you guys give me $5?" And then Gobi Bob, she offered him food. "No, but we have food. Please take some." He said, "No," walked off. So interesting little duality.
yes, it's like and nourishment. So, at the end, compassion means action. What is the most compassionate thing to do for the suffering people? Holy name. Share this true happiness that we found. Real happiness. Not temporary happiness that we feel. Sometimes, for us, happiness only comes on Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday. It's like kind of happy, but then you're kind of dreading the next day as well. So there's a little bit of a mix there. But how can we smooth it all out? Hare Krishna. We smooth it all out.
By going to the temple on Sunday, because that's the happiest day of the week.
Jai, indeed. But yes, at the end of the day, true rock solid happiness is what we want to share with these suffering souls. And that's the most compassionate thing to do for all of us. All this.
First, we find Krishna. Then we share Krishna with others. That last part is essential. It is an essential ingredient in our devotional life. Sharing Krishna with others.
So, I guess we can wrap it up. Summarize. At the end of the day, we have our goal. Know God, love God. And we have our process. Chant, serve the Vaishnavas, and share Krishna. Other than these, there's no other religion. There's no other way to know God and love God. That's simple. So, okay, well, what I wanted to kind of cap off slightly with short on time, but yeah, that's true. So, the principle, I know at least I struggled with in the beginning days, all or nothing. I know we were a little bit heavy earlier about chanting all these things, but something that we can get stuck on is, okay, 16 rounds is the ideal, that's the minimum. I need to do 16 rounds. But if we get stuck on all or nothing, then our spiritual life goes like this. We may try to jump from 0 to 16. 0 to somewhere higher, who knows, and then fall right back down. Because it's difficult, it's such a shock to our system. And we may get really excited to go and do it, and then fall down. And this applies really to even all the regular things we do in life, like go to the gym or start a diet, all these things, If we jump all the way into it right away, it's just a recipe for disaster. From my own experience, at least. So that's why some effort there is in italics. Do a little bit of chanting, a little bit of serving, and a little bit of sharing. Everything else will come. And oh yes, didn't see this. This ties into Prabhupada's quote, and I think this is a nice cap to everything. You don't have to stop anything. Just add Krishna to your life. That's it. Whatever you cook, offer it to Krishna. Then take prasad and chant Krishna's names. Obviously, you have to cook kosher to offer it to Krishna and chant Krishna's names. But Prabhupada's point being, don't reverse your life all of a sudden. Just slowly add Krishna wherever you can, and everything else will come. That's it.
Dovetail.
Sorry?
It says like to dovetail everything with
Dovetail.
I know one story that comes to mind sometimes in this topic is one of Srila Prabhupada's devotees used to smoke cigarettes. You know, chain smoker, smoked a pack a day. He started chanting japa while he was smoking. So you know, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Ram. And this devotee did this for some time. What he found is that at some point, chanting japa and smoking cigarettes was incompatible. So over time, he found himself smoking less and chanting more, just naturally.
It works.
Until eventually, he stopped smoking altogether and was only doing japa, was only chanting the whole day.
He didn't even stop smoking. He just
No.
I know that from experience.
Okay.
I
Jack.
know that from experience, ladies. Yeah.
He was the person. He was the guy.
But notice how simple the instruction that Srila Prabhupada gives us. Just add Krishna. Anyone here who is having trouble chanting, or who hasn't even started chanting, notice, we're not telling you to change anything in your life. Change nothing in your life. If you have the same diet, if you have the same tendencies, if you have the same sleep schedule, if you have the same work, all you need to do is just add Krishna. That's it. Just add Krishna and see what happens. That's how so many in this movement got started. When Srila Prabhupada came, all these hippies, they didn't drop what they were doing. They were high off acid and smoking weed while they were chanting with Srila Prabhupada. But all they did was add Krishna. Srila Prabhupada didn't tell them to stop. Again, Srila Prabhupada, he just said, add Krishna. Do not stop anything that you're doing. Just add Krishna. And look at how their lives are transformed. It's that simple. If we allow it to be that simple. If you make it complex, that's on you. Oh no, I can't chant because I'm too high, I smoke too much weed. No, you can still chant. Oh no, I'm too tired, I'm too sleepy, I'm not gonna do good rounds. You still chant. Oh, I'm kinda hungry, I won't be in the right mind space if I chant. You still chant. Just add Krishna. That's it. Everything you do, just add Krishna. So simple. So simple.
I think it's an offense though to do things to chant Krishna, like smoking and intoxicating.
Yes.
I think it is an offense.
But that comes with time.
It's an offense, but there's one Prabhupada, I think they even went on the calendar. There's one Prabhupada quote. Because the holy name is so potent that even while chanting with offense, one eventually gets the purifying effect. And eventually the offense will die out. Yes.
Offenseless chanting, very difficult. At least start chanting. Even if you're riddled with offenses, still chant.
just add Krishna.
Beginning stage is offensive chapter. That's the beginning stage. Eventually, will come in offense, start the process.
With offensive, then like, yeah, that's right. So, yes. So now with us, you're at least conscious of the offense, and you're slowly working to rid them. At first, you don't even know. Then you're conscious. Then it transitions into purity.
So I think that's pretty comforting. You know, it's a place to start. We only have 2 minutes. Oh yeah.
It's a quick question. The quote you quoted with Sanatan, the Jiva Doya, Nam, Ruchi, and Vaishnav Seva. Where's that from? This one, yeah. Where's the origin of that quote?
I had trouble finding this because, yeah, looking through this, I mean, didn't dig hard, but it was all kind of more obscure references.
Yeah. So next time it would be nice to have like exactly where you got it from, so that we can reference it later if we want further discussion. Just a small thing. I'm very sorry for the addition.
No, please, thank you. That's
And also,
very good.
this, how did you link these three to simplicity? How did, simplicity means these things, where does it say that?
The goal was more simplicity in practice. Simple, we have our goal, we have our methods, 3 methods. How do we apply them simply in our lives? That was more the goal.
No, I guess the reference.
No, I think what I understood,
What is this
to
song?
bring, so the topic is simplicity, right? To bring simplicity, we are living a Vaishnava life, devotee life, right? To bring simplicity in our lives, we must place emphasis on these 3 things. So these things will keep us simple in terms of, simple means you only simply think of Krishna. Everything else is happening. Every finished, now simply think of Krishna. The next 8 hours, by doing Nam Ruchi, and nicely, Vaishnava Seva, when we get a time, and then we give it there. Operation once a month, we do the Nam, whatever. So that's what I have done, from their connection-wise. So,
I think also the fact that it's only 3 things that you need to follow. So like for example, when I teach like a new student how to do archery, technically speaking, when you teach someone that process, it's an 11-step process. But if I'm teaching someone who's never shot archery before, I'm giving them 4 or 5 basic steps to follow. So especially when you're just approaching practicing Krishna consciousness even from a beginner level, 3 things to focus on. That's easier to catch on, it's easier to memorize, and then it's easier to master. Otherwise, if I give you the 9 processes of bhakti right away, it may not be. Maybe someone might be able to hit the ground running, but in most cases, easing someone in with 3 simple things to follow, and then get more simply progress over time. You can add more details.
Hand in the back. Someone pass the mic.